welcome and thank you for joining us today. We know we can see and hear me, or even if it's a bit horror film like. And we're going to look at week 6, which is very exciting stuff. It's hard to believe that after today, there's only 2 more to go. Very exciting. I'm so proud of everyone and all the growth that I'm seeing and hearing about. It's amazing. So well done. And don't forget, I'm always only a message away at any time. So there's a lot to take in tonight. It's going to be quite an interesting night. I suppose every time is an interesting one because you're never really sure quite what to expect. But hopefully this is yet another way to understand things, to take things in, to learn more tools and to develop a better understanding of what's going on internally. Please feel free to make notes. Any questions you can ask the chat in the chat box, and there'll be question time at the end as well. Obviously, if you want to just say, take the mic off and ask once I get to the end of the slide, feel free. Or if I ask, we can just jump in and, I'll try my best to answer your questions. So today is all about consciousness, Ho'oponopono, and finding your flow. So we all good to continue?
Yep, I'm ready.
Cool. So what is our consciousness? And according to the Cambridge Dictionary, it's the state of understanding and realizing something, or the state of being awake, thinking, and knowing what's happening around you. Freud is a psychologist, and his model of consciousness is what many psychologists still use today. It's pretty outdated, to be quite honest, but this is what globally they use as their understanding of consciousness. So he explains there's a pre-conscious, which is where our data is stored and we live with our survival brain. Then we have our consciousness, which is our current state of awareness, the level of society where we have herd mentality, and unconscious, which is the biggest part of our awareness, where we form our identity, where we question things and learn and grow. So I'm just going to go over that again, just to give you a good grounding for the start. So what is our consciousness? It's the state of understanding and realizing something, the state of being awake, thinking and knowing what's happening around you, as stated by the Cambridge Dictionary. It's always handy to hear what dictionaries state things are. Freud's model of consciousness is what many psychologists use today. So we have our pre-conscious, which is where our data is stored, and we live with our survival brain, which is our limbic brain, that bit at the back. We have our conscious, which is our current state of awareness and the level of society where we have herd mentality, which would be, if you're on autopilot or something. And unconscious, the biggest part of our awareness, where we form our identity, where we question things and learn and grow. So that would be ego. Now, I'm here to explain that it's so much, much more than the world of phenomena tells you. So Freud is very much world of phenomena thinking. When we step outside of the norm of this concept, or this BS system, belief system, is bullshit, always question our belief systems. When we step outside of this norm and common understanding as featured in the dictionary and Freud's limited perception, we see what spiritual practitioners have known for thousands of years. Our consciousness is more complex, and it is the very different levels of our awareness. And in its pure state, it is awareness itself. Did anyone have any questions?
Not really a question so much, but just kind of touching on the unconscious and conscious side of things. Me and my son were having a little bit of a debate with my dad recently about feeling fear in dreams, and me and my son were of the impression that you only feel that if you wake up in the middle of the dream and remember the dream and therefore become conscious of that feeling. It's possible to feel fear in a dream but not be aware of it because you haven't woken up in the middle of it to remember it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. It's not something that because you're saying it's only when it enters our awareness in our waking state that the fear is a thing. I think that's what you're saying. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now,
that we're feeling fear.
Then we're aware that we experience the dream and we relive the fear when we repeat the dream, and then it goes on in our bodies again. But when you're studying sleep, I've never done it, I've just watched a few things on it. It's possible that people are sleeping and that their bodies are undergoing a fear response in their sleep, and they don't remember it when they're awake. So I wouldn't know, because no one's aware of what's going on when they're asleep. It's only a computer that's telling. So it could be that you're very, very much correct in what you're saying, because the fear itself, what is fear? And fear is I suppose a physiological response to a situation which we feel threatened. So I suppose it's similar to trauma in some way. That's certainly it's grist for the mill.
I've given you something to think about now, haven't I?
Yeah, but that's great. It's very interesting to know, because when we're aware of a fear, it repeats itself, and then it then can go on to remain in our awareness for longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be very interesting to find out more of that and look more, because like I say, I have no idea, but it certainly makes sense what you say and your son.
Right.
So thank you.
Right, thank you.
So becoming aware of our consciousness, or awareness is another word for it. We can learn to respond instead of react through the practice of loving awareness. Now, loving awareness is when we view the world and ourselves with love, compassion, and understanding. We can learn to respond instead of react through the practice of loving awareness. And being aware of our content, or mind matter, we can compassionately connect to our memories or data, like we did with rain. So our content, or data, it causes thoughts, language, and behavior, and how we react with our world, and how we can clean up what no longer serves us. Cleaning is the word which we'd use through the Ho'oponopono. So taking 100% responsibility for our content, so knowing it's our content, no one else. We've been influenced by things that we've seen or experienced ourselves. It means we're taking our power back, and we're reducing the amount of content that causes static, reduces resistance, and enables life to flow. Now, the Reverend Michael Beckwith breaks it down simply. Consciousness is not content. Consciousness is your absolute awareness of awareness itself. So it's the, when you come into yourself through loving awareness and you're becoming the observer of what's going on in your life, you're then observing what is going on in your mind. You're observing as if you're watching you. So you're not judging, you're not getting caught up. You're able to watch your life and your experiences as if it's a movie, as a third person. So content is your identity or historical self or perception. Now, Dr. Hugh Len, he says there's only two laws how to choose to live our lives by, which is the law of inspiration or the law of memory. And he is saying that if we live by memory, we experience a life full of static and resistance, which makes sense because we know about the human negativity bias. So we're hardwired to remember the bad shit and focus on that to protect ourselves. So when we live by inspiration, we're wiping the whiteboard clean. So we're cleaning our memory and we're following universal guidance or our higher, wiser self. And we're going to be able to live for the highest good of all, not just for our ego self or our vulnerable self. So we're no longer a victim of our circumstances. We become victors. We're moving on and taking our power back and being responsible for ourselves and our lives, which is what you're doing through this course. We clean our memories to clean the imprints that are contained within our luminous energy field. So everything that's in our energetic field, when we're not running so well and our vibrations and frequencies aren't quite as high, we've got a lot of sludge, a lot of weight, not physical weight, it's an energetic weight, when you can feel low and feel down and feel heavy, and when we're feeling much better, we're feeling a bit lighter and brighter and healthier. So when we clean away what's no longer serving us, we're able to clear our energetic field, which really does serve our highest good. Now, Dr. Alberto Villoldo is a Western shaman. He's one of my teachers, and he taught that the energy field is the software which informs our DNA. So Dr. Hugh Len was a kahuna, which is a Hawaiian shaman, and Dr. Alberto Villoldo was a shaman, or is a shaman from the West, from America, and he lives in Chile, and he is my lineage of the Laika. So I got the Munaiki rights and the energy medicine. I did my energy medicine with him. But our lineage comes from the Q'ero, which is the Southern Americans down in like the Amazon. But he also was affected by and taught by he traveled the world looking for answers, because he was a brain scientist, and he wanted to know whether disease could be psychosomatic, and whether if disease can be psychosomatic, whether we can also heal through our thoughts. So he went around looking into this and eventually became a shaman, which took years and years of study. It's a really interesting person and a life, and you find him through the Four Winds, and you also find him a book he's written called Shaman, Healer, Sage. Really amazing book. Now, when we see differently to the world that we live in, the world of phenomena, We can break free from the karma of the world by cleaning the software and reconnecting with Great Spirit. This upgrades our energy field, and because the body and spirit are entwined, we can heal the mind, body, and spirit. Science has proved, sorry, someone got a question? So science has proved that we are only 10% of our genes. The rest is psychosomatic. In other words, 90% of our issues are created by thoughts. And we can find that out, the science and the data for that, with Dr. Bruce Lipton. This is exciting news because it means we have got control of our health and well-being. We are in charge. We can stop faulty thoughts, our language and behavior going through us into our next generation, into our children and their children. We have got the power to eradicate racism, sexism, classism, genderism, capitalism, homophobia, xenophobia, and every kind of discrimination, and create a whole new blueprint for humankind. That sounds like absolutely fucking amazing, right? Well, the thing is, it's true. We have got that power. And it requires us to challenge what we see and what we feel and what we think we know, and look at our BS, belief systems, and really explore our world and find that place through loving awareness where we're able to connect to something higher and wiser than our ego self. Everything that is began with a thought. The entire universe began with a thought and with our thoughts. We have the power to birth what we need for our health and well-being and the highest good of all on the planet. So the universe, the divine, purple-headed unicorn, whatever you believe is the thing that's higher than just our ego self, it could be your highest self, but it supports us in this, as this is our purpose and the true nature of life itself. So our purpose is to birth into life what we need to co-create for the best health and well-being and highest good of everything on the planet, where everything then lives in balance. So Dr. Hugh Leng quote here, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me." So we're going to move on to looking at the 4 levels of consciousness in Ho'oponopono. Now, not many people are aware of these. They just think, oh, it's I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. There's actually, it goes so much deeper, and hopefully I believe this will help you understand what's going on inside much better. So we have an image here, and this image shows God in the eye, or the long rectangle at the top. God is the divine or highest part of ourselves. Then we have wisdom in the triangle. Wisdom is higher and wiser than knowledge. It is a level of awareness or consciousness that you cannot get from a book or an education. Underneath that is knowledge. So knowledge is something that you go and you learn at college, or you get taught it by other people. So wisdom is much higher than knowledge. And then, of course, we have our memory. Our memory is data. It's our perceptions. It builds our perceptions. So memory isn't our perception, sorry. Our memory is the data, that matter in our brains, where it tells us, like human negativity bias, it remembers good stuff too. And it basically keeps us safe. And by trying to stop us doing the bad stuff and trying to encourage us to do more of the good stuff, which is why we have things like addictions, because it feels good. So our body goes, yeah, we like that, we'll do that again. Now here, we're going to look at that same image again. So the top, God, is also known as inspiration. And in Ho'oponopono, we use the word zero. So it's where there is no memories, no data, everything is pure, clear, whole and complete. We have our superconscious below that, which is wisdom, which is our spirit. So it's that part of us that's our highest, wisest self, our inner sage. Then below that, we have our conscious, which is our knowledge, our intellect. And then below that, we have our subconscious, which is our memory and our inner child. In Ho'oponopono, they relate to our memory as also the say it resonates with the inner child part of ourselves. The average human being is mostly stored memories. And the memories are how we stayed safe, and it's stored inside our brain. Trauma memories are imprinted on our amygdala, which hold the emotional significance and intensity. Long-term safe memories are stored in our prefrontal cortex. And our inner child is a functional part of our persona, also known as vulnerable self. And it lives with our other archetypes inside our subconscious. This aspect of our persona can easily be seen when we connect to our childlike self. And this can be when we have fun or when we want attention or when our ego wants its own way. Intellect can be identified as the parental self, the one who tries to keep us safe and often scolds us with the best of intentions. Our conscious works the majority of the time through our limbic brain, where it looks to meet our basic needs for survival. Our conscious links in with our prefrontal cortex too, our data storage center. And this is our library of useful knowledge that we store to keep us safe. It connects us to all the experiences that we have learned from. All the good stuff, all the bad. Here we need to stop the limbic brain hijacking our brain and our nervous system and use the logic and reasoning, which is the prefrontal cortex, to rewire our brains so we can start responding, not reacting. Our superconscious is our soul or spirit, and it's the bridge from our subconscious to the divine. This is the wise part of us, our adult self, which responds from our higher self through loving awareness. Our life force energy or mana comes internally from our spirit. This is an internal force from a divine source into subconscious or inner child. So we can easily identify our superconscious because our conscious and subconscious are always connected to the data. Our spirit is always detached from data. Is everyone okay so far? So the inspiration part of our consciousness is pure loving awareness itself. It's connected to universal consciousness. It's the most primal energy force. And this is our highest mind or God mind. This is the part of us that has never been born and never dies. Like our superconscious, It's not connected to or affected by data. The zero state of consciousness does not judge. It does not criticize. It does not blame or try to fix anything. Its only purpose is to guide us to evolve to a higher state of being without ego, where we as enlightened beings guide others to walk in right way with all in existence. So it's finding our balance, finding our flow, where we're able to be with loving awareness with one another. So there is no future for rage. Now, rage right now is so necessary. We have to have rage. We have to experience anger and all our emotions. It's so important, especially all the years of suppression. But in the future, there isn't a future for rage, because we'll be able to progress and evolve past where we're at now to a much higher, wiser sense of being. Ho'oponopono teaches us to clean our memories so we can aim for the peace of eye, zero or inner peace or enlightenment. We clean petitioning our subconscious through conscious mind by saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you. This petitions our subconscious mind to reach out to our soul, which is the spirit and the superconscious. And Dr. Hew Len explains that you can never go to the divine directly. The divine then transmutes the problems. Is all okay with that? Thank you. So the aim of Ho'oponopono is to reach zero, which is pure loving awareness. In yoga, Buddhism, Taoism, mysticism, and many other practices, the aim is to reach enlightenment, which is the same as zero. There are so many different names and ways to reach enlightenment globally. It can get confusing. But when we see without eyes and we see from our hearts, we realize everything's all the same. We lose the roles and discover the souls. We are one with all life. The universe and everything is energy, light, love, wave and sound energy. At our core, we are pure loving awareness. One way to find balance and alignment with our purpose to evolve is to meet our inners. Now, our inners this is also what's known as transactional analysis. So we have our one end of, say, if this was a scale, we have our inner child, our vulnerable self, and that part of us can be rebellious. And we can be well adapted and we want to be free. In the center of the scales, we have our inner adult, which is our wisest self, which is logical, rational, and problem solving. And our inner parent, the opposite end of the scale there, is our parental self, where we can be critical, but we can also be nurturing. Now, looking at the transactional analysis, looking at our inner child and our inner parent, we usually need to find a way of being our own referee, if you like. So our inner adult brings us back to center. Our inner adult brings ourselves into alignment through loving awareness by nurturing our vulnerable self, so we become more free and adaptable. This is why Dr. Hew Len taught us the inner child guided meditation. And I have adapted this to include the chakras, and it's also hypnotic in nature. So please, this is hypnosis, if you like, or a journey that we're going to be doing shortly. So don't drive, don't operate machinery. Make sure you're fully present for the whole thing, the whole meditation or journey. The reason why I chose to adapt Dr. Hugh Lenz is because there's a lot of humans who have experienced an awful lot in your lives or in their lives. You're going to be no different. And I believe that it's right, only right, that we should tread gently, respecting our inner selves through the use of consent and boundaries. It's a very important part of self-care, self-love, and self-empowerment. Safety and security are a vital part of healing, and most people in today's society don't feel safe in some way. This causes so many problems outside in society and in the privacy of their own homes. So when we contain memories of unpleasant experiences, or we're told of someone else's unpleasant experience, our conscious and our subconscious make sure we don't forget it. When something similar comes up, our intelligent desires to keep us safe and our body's pharmacy, you know, I would say our body is our greatest pharmacy. It creates what chemicals it needs to keep us safe. And we enter that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It shuts down our immune system and anything not necessary for the moment. It produces adrenaline, raising your heart rate, and puts extra sugar into your system so you can get out of danger. It's exactly what happens to our minds and bodies during the course of each day, sometimes for seconds, sometimes way much longer. We don't want that happening during the guided meditation. So everything is energy, and everything we do is an exchange of energy, from smiling to walking down a street to posting on Facebook. Nearly said posting on Facebook then. So we are constantly exchanging energies with our minds, our bodies, and our environment. Take a look at this. So on the screen, I've created, it looks like a cloud, okay? And it's just to show you that if you could see how our energy fields are, you'd see how we're all connected energetically just through our fields and how our energy vibrates out into our world. You can also see how everyone else's vibrates into ours. So if you was just, each one of you was just each center of each circle there rippling out. You've got your mind in the center. Whatever's going on in your mind ripples out to your body, the next circle, which ripples out to your environment. And whoever's nearby, your mind is affecting someone else's mind, someone else's body, and someone else's environment. And they're affecting your mind and your body and your environment, and you're both affecting someone else's mind, body, and environment, and it just ripples out like that. It's pretty amazing stuff and pretty scary at the same time. So you've got all these minds, all these bodies. So you're walking down the supermarket or something, all these people who are thinking, their thoughts are affecting how they're behaving, how they're acting in the body language. So you're gonna sense that, and it's gonna ripple out into the environment and really affect how your visit or your trip to the park or supermarket or wherever it is. So it really can be a bit freaky, to be honest. So it's good to be mindful and bring yourself back to center so that you're not quite as affected by everyone and everything else. Has anyone got any questions about this? So I've got a poem by Spike Milligan, Smiling is infectious. You catch it like the flu. When someone smiled at me today, I started smiling too. I passed around the corner and someone saw my grin. When he smiled, I realised I'd passed it on to him. I thought about that smile, then I realised its worth. A single smile just like mine could travel round the earth. So if you feel a smile begin, don't leave it undetected. Let's start an epidemic quick and get the world infected. Just see what that says there. Cool. It's a really cool poem, isn't it? You shared it once on your Facebook. I find it so amazing. My granddad, I remember him telling it me years ago, and I used to sit there and giggle, and then I'd go out, and I was a pretty lonely kid, but I used to try and smile at people to see if they'd smile back. And it does work, you know, when you're a kid and you sat in the back of the car and you're just watching the world go by, or sitting on the bus looking through the window, and you smile at someone, you go past, they smile back. It's a beautiful thing, beautiful thing. So now that we're smiling and in a better headspace, I'd love to share my hypnotic guided inner child meditation with you. So if you'd just like to take a moment to get yourselves comfortable, because I've set this up so it's embedded. So hopefully you'll get the sound without having my sound. And you get to really experience this. This is music that, you know, I told you about Joe Vitale and Matt. Matt is a musician, Matt the Monk, and his music's amazing, and he gave permission for me to recreate Dr. Hew Len's meditation. So I adjusted it to make it right for transactional analysis and the chakras and things, and he gave permission for me to use his music with this meditation. So if you just take a moment to get yourself comfortable and move on.
Today, I'm going to take you on a journey inward, turning inward, travelling back along your timeline to meet yourself when you were small, making yourself comfortable now, knowing that you are safe, secure and protected. Close your eyes now and pay attention to your breath. Take in a nice, long, slow, deep breath and hold it for the mental count of 3, letting it out slowly with a sigh. Relax your body now. Ensure your feet are both flat on the floor. Become aware of the surface beneath you now and feel your feet becoming heavy and comfortable and relaxed. Let go now. Allow your hands to rest gently on your lap. Let them feel heavy, let them relax, and let go. Take another long, slow, deep breath in. Hold it for 3, and let it go with a sigh. Notice how calmness and relaxation is beginning to flow down your body now, from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. Every nerve, every cell, every fibre, every consciousness of your body is relaxing nicely now, relaxing and letting go of tension. Letting go, letting go, let go. And take one more long, slow, deep breath. Hold it for 3 and let it go with a sigh. Perfect. Notice how heavy your hands are becoming. So heavy, so comfortable, so relaxed. Let go now. And as you notice that heaviness there in your hands, feel it spreading all the way over your body. And let your eyes feel heavy as well, heavy and comfortable and so relaxed. Let go of those tiny muscles around your eyes and feel them become loose, limp and lazy. Imagine little weights pulling down on your lashes, allowing your eyes to remain closed so that you can look up into the screen of your forehead and imagine a picture or perceive the word relax, or maybe a shape or colour or symbol, one that represents the word relax, and take that symbol of relaxation back until it relaxes both the left and the right lobes of the brain. And allow that feeling, that relaxing feeling, to flow all the way through your body. And let go completely now. Nothing bothers you now. Nothing disturbs you. All the sounds that you hear and all the sounds you don't hear. Focus your attention on my voice and my voice only. And every time you hear the word deeper, you will go 10 times deeper into blissful relaxation. Go deeper inside yourself now and imagine a beautiful crystal stairway, and recognize each crystal as you step down, deeper down, onto the pure, solid, clear quartz steps. Deeper down now onto the amethyst steps of lovely shades of purple. Deeper down onto the brilliant blue turquoise steps. Watching the steps, sparkling and shimmering, inviting you down, deeper down, onto the deeper green malachite steps, and deeper still past the wispy yellow citrine steps, and then deeper still, down to a wonderful place, a magical and mystical place. And go down and down now, deeper, deep within yourself, where you step now onto the shiny orange carnelian. Relaxed and let go completely now. Feel yourself descending deeper. It's fairly dark here, but there are occasional candles which flicker through your mind. Become a witness as you go down, watching yourself going deeper down. Feel yourself going deeper down the last few deep red jasper stairs. And know that your mind is still here, listening to and hearing whatever is said. And very soon, as you go deeper, you'll achieve the perfect state of relaxation. And that's it, letting go of all distractions for any noise, any sound, any movement. Anything you hear or sense simply takes you deeper and deeper within yourself. Perfect. Right down now to the deepest level of your own mind. Imagine now you, as your adult self, are walking towards a park. It is a very private park, surrounded by high wrought iron fences and tall trees. There is a gate in the fence. Go ahead and open it now, and step through into this magical park with vividly bright flowers growing in abundance. You follow the wide cobblestone path, watching the swallows duck and dive, and the brilliantly coloured butterflies flitting from flower to flower. Up ahead, you notice a playground, the kind you used to play on when you were a child. It is perfectly preserved with its old-fashioned equipment that's no longer used for today's children. There are seats around the playground, and sitting on the seat is a very young child who looks familiar. Now you see that this child is you, and say to the child, I am sorry. I now acknowledge your presence, and I am so sorry. I did not realize you were here. I love you. The child smiles at you and beckons you over to the seat. Beside the child is a big photo album titled My Life in Pictures. Know that this book is the book of your life. The child is patting the bench, so you sit down. You offer your hand out to the child, who takes it and places it on the book. You open the book and look at the first picture together. It's a picture of your mother with her hand on her big pregnant tummy. What does your inner child feel about being in the womb? Ask the child now. What does the child need to hear from you? Listen carefully to the child now. Once the child has finished speaking, say, "Thank you for sharing these memories. I'm sorry. I can feel the pain and the hurt contained inside of you. I love you." The child turns the page and you look at the next picture. What feelings does the picture bring up, and what needs to be said about it between you? Say, "Thank you. Thank you for sharing this with me. I love you so much. I'm sorry for all the accumulated memories, which you experience as sorrow, as grief, as confusion, as pain. I take responsibility for all the woe that I have created, accepted, and accumulated. Please forgive me." Take some time now with your inner child to look at the pictures one by one as the story of your life unfolds. Allow your child to ask any questions or talk about anything she needs to. Listen patiently and answer with love. Now say, "I love you and I'm genuinely sorry for all these years of neglect, for not listening, for not taking care of you, for manipulating you. Thank you for opening up and sharing these today. Please forgive me." Ask your inner child if there is anything they need from you today, or in the coming weeks or months, in order to feel safe and rested. Carefully listen to the answer now. Now say, "Thank you for being a part of me. Thank you for being so strong for all these years. I am so grateful." Ask permission to place your hand on the child's shoulder. And as the child grants permission, place your hand gently on their shoulder. Now mentally scan your body. And when you feel into an area which doesn't feel right, say, "I am experiencing this feeling. and it does not feel right. And I do not know why, but you do. Please help me to let go. And now say, thank you for being a part of me. I love you. If you do not mind helping me to let go, please let go of memories which are replaying, which cause us pain and suffering. That way, we can offer these memories to divinity through the superconscious and let go. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. You feel the child's energy integrate with yours. For you are one. You always have been one, and you always will be one. Say, I thank you. I love you. It's time to leave now, but I will be back soon. And whenever you hear me saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, please know I am thinking about you. Tell the child that you will return to the park whenever they want to talk again. And you can assure them by telling them, you are such an important part of me. You will never be neglected again. Knowing that you are now a strong, mature and capable adult, full of unconditional love and compassion for your inner child. Your child gives you a big, big wave as you head back down the path and through the wrought iron gate, feeling more tranquil and stronger with each step. Getting ready to come back into the room now. I will count to 5. And on 5, you will open your eyes feeling totally calm and at peace now. 1. Take a deep breath. 2. Becoming aware of the room. 3. Feeling the energy running through your body. 4. Moving your fingers and toes. 5. Eyes open now, feeling totally refreshed and re-energized, ready to begin your day. Your relationship with your inner child is the most important relationship of all relationships on the planet. By helping your inner child feel heard and valued, your heart will expand and your whole being will be filled with peace and love.
Just give you a moment. Your relationship with your inner child is so the most important relationship of all relationships on the planet. And it's finding that balance between our inner parent and inner child by tuning into our wisest, highest self, so we can communicate and connect with our inner parent and our inner child and find our balance and come back into alignment. Helping your inner child feel heard and valued, your heart will expand and your whole being will be filled with peace and love. Today, you have learned the most important thing, the importance of your consciousness or awareness, and how it is important to understand the Ho'oponopono better. Our inspiration, the God part of us, zero, the clear mind. Our superconscious, the wisdom of the spirit. Our conscious, the knowledge, the intellect, the data. The subconscious, also data, and the memories and our vulnerable self, our inner child. How we're not our mind, but we are our awareness. And the power we contain to change our life and our world, and the discovery of a new tool for building and maintaining the most important relationship on the planet between our conscious and subconscious, our inner parent and inner child. Our end goal is to attain our inner peace in every aspect of our life. It's called the peace of I. It's the peace we achieve through applying the Ho'oponopono in our life. We can be the change we wish to see in this world through taking responsibility for what we can control, coming to terms with what we can't control, admitting we're not perfect, we all make mistakes, and showing gratitude for all in existence, showing ourselves and others unconditional love. We're just souls walking each other home. So thank you so much for joining us today. I love you. I'm proud of you. And it's now open for question time and feedback.
Not really a question. I'll jump in with I really try and immerse myself in meditations like that, but I find that I get stuck, and I don't know whether it's because I've obviously got so much trauma that is kind of suppressed that I'm just too numb to be able to. I mean, when I'm trying to talk to my inner child, I get nothing.
Okay. Nothing's perfect. And it's one of those things, we keep Ho'oponoponoing on it, or we keep using that rain meditation. We're using our loving awareness. It's perfectly okay to experience nothing with meditation, or to have that weird freeze or numbness or blockage. It's just this thing where we're not quite ready for, getting to that next stage yet, but we're sitting with what it is and giving it space. As we give it space, whatever it is, however it is, will move. So getting away from the blame, the feeling bad, the thinking that you're doing it wrong when actually you're doing it right. There's some things in life that it's just not the time, it's not the place, it's just not the right circumstance, but you're doing it anyway. And the thing about meditation is sometimes you can have nothing at all, and sometimes you can just get a whole load of mind share, and sometimes you get great awakenings,
Yeah,
and all of it's perfect.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've tried a few different meditations, and I can't remember which one it was now, and it's really, I should have saved it. It was quite a long time ago that I did it, but it was one meditation that I really did feel something afterwards. I think I'm getting better with the sort of the visualization aspect of it, but I mean, it was like when you got to the part where we were supposed to sort of look through the photo album, I was unable really to picture any images of, I couldn't imagine my mum pregnant with me. There was no sort of picture of that. The picture that did come to my mind is the pictures just after I'd been born, obviously when I'm in my mum's arms. But yeah, sort of I really do struggle to actually sort of get to what is being said and the instructions that are being given. I don't manage to sort of get all the way there. Like explaining
And
it
that's okay. It is. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But I had the same, and it was like, what is wrong with me? This is my conversation with myself. Like, what is wrong with me? What's with this meditation? Why can't I get into it? Why can't I just drop into it like everyone else does? Why can't I see these things? Why can't I feel these things? And I used to give myself a bit of a hard time, or a lot of a hard time, and feel real shite afterwards. Sometimes I feel so bad that I just wouldn't even go there again, and or attend classes and stuff, because I felt so almost embarrassed. So it's amazing that you've had the courage
to not do that.
Yeah. And the thing is, what you're doing is you're raising something that people are often too ashamed to share, which is amazing, and it's beautiful, and it's courageous. And the thing is, like, I don't know if I've ever shared that when we have something that's in our mind, and it's kind of like a thought that's always at the forefront of our mind, and we finally address it and it then disappears, we very often just get another replacement. It goes and we think, yeah, and then there's another thought that just enters the space. It's almost like there's a queue of thoughts. I can almost visualize this queue of thoughts. I don't know what they'd look like, but these whole little line of things, a bit like the seagulls in Finding Nemo, and they're all in this great big line, and the one at the front, and everyone's like kind of pick me, and the one at the front is the one saying no, pick me. So you go for the one at the front, the one that's most dominant, and you sit with that and give it space. It eventually does change form. Sometimes it takes a whole lot longer, and then it ends up being replaced with another one.
Yeah. Do you think the mind puts the easiest thing to deal with at the forefront of the sort of queue?
I don't think it's so much the mind. I think it's actually like, I think it's part of our self-protecting system, and this is only my thought. This is, I feel that it would, to me, it would make a logic. It's logical, because I thought about this long and hard, and I thought, well, logically, I'm not ready for whatever it is yet, and as much as I want to, address whatever it is at that point, it's just not the right time. And as soon as it's ready, that bit drops away like an onion, the skin of the onion, it drops away, leaving the rest of the onion, and then that skin drops away, then eventually, and that comes back in another form, another thought form where it is then ready to go. So we don't always get a chance to pick and choose what we're dealing with next, what we're ready for next. But our subconscious does. There's something about us that kind of keeps balance.
Yeah.
And we don't have to try. But know that it's all perfect. Know that when we're sitting there getting nowhere, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
The nowhere is somewhere because we give it space. When we are sitting with that and we don't give the space to the nothing or the numbness or whatever it is that we're feeling, maybe we're feeling guilt or shame, or previous memories are coming up where we've experienced things like that, where we've not been able to do it, and then that's replaying in our mind. Just becoming that observer, meeting ourselves with loving awareness, just watching it, allowing it, letting it be. So not trying to change, just let it be, and then it will sort itself out. It always does, like it seems ridiculous, but and I know that I say this a lot, but I've been learning, and it took a lot of learning for me, that the more I sit with something and let it be, the more it can just be and have space to go. Like the more I hold on to something, or the more I'm caught up in it, going on with myself, the more I'm reinforcing my BS, my belief system, my bullshit story, the more that I'm keeping it in place. So allowing the being to be, whatever it is, and just loving myself anyway. Like how courageous is it, do you think, to just allow yourself to sit with something? Like how much self-care, how much,
because you've got to allow yourself to feel that rather than pushing it away to stop yourself feeling the pain. So yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. You've got to give yourself permission to do that, and that takes such an amount of bravery. That takes so much courage. The hardest thing to do on this fucking planet, in this world of experience, is to allow ourselves to sit with ourselves. That's why people can't stick at meditating most of the time, because when they stop, they've got this idea you stop when you meditate. Well, it's far from the truth. You sit with your meditation and all of a sudden you've got monkey mind going on. You've got things replaying. You've got all sorts of thoughts coming up. You've got the thoughts popping into your head like, shit, what am I going to have for tea? When am I going to go shopping? What am I going to do tomorrow? Shit, I forgot to let the dog back in. All these different things are going on in our head, and that's the truth. That's the truth of meditation. People think, oh, it's all like we're just going to sit there and our mind will be quiet and we'll just be all peaceful and it'll all be love and fairy fucking shit and glitter and sparkly unicorn farts. And it isn't like that at all. We sit with ourselves, and we experience some of the hardest fucking challenges in our entire existence, where things can replay, where things can change, where we have to just sit and allow something to be, even though it's the scariest thing that we've ever faced in our life. And this is why the Buddha, when the stories of Siddhartha, and he's sitting there, and then he sees Maya's his demon, Maya's the naughty one who keeps popping back, and he says, shall we have tea? Because it's about meeting your demons. It's about being aware of it, looking at it and going with loving awareness. I see you, Maya. I see you, you cheeky little monkey. I see you, you troublesome mind. I see you and I meet you, but I'm gonna observe you, and you're not catching me this time. I'm telling you, I'm going to sit with you and you're not going to drag me in and you're not going to, like, I'm not going to get that carrot. You know, it's dangling a carrot. It's like, come on, come on. And it's going, yeah, I see you. But instead of pushing you away, instead of doing anything else, what we're doing is going, well, I see you. Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like to just sit with me a while? Here, have a seat, you know? And when we do that, we're aware that even the most enlightened people, like the Buddha, experienced these thought forms that came up, but he knew it was part of the game. Thich Nhat Hanh, he was an amazing mindfulness person. He's a monk. He'd done it for years and years and years and years. And you know what? He experiences it. Ram Dass experiences it. There's many amazing people who have reached states of awareness and really being in themselves, who really practice hard, and they too experience things coming up. But I don't want to scare you off, because the thing is, it gets easier, it gets lighter, it goes from something being more scary and frightening and uncomfortable to going, oh, it's almost like it turns into a game sometimes, and you sit there looking like a bit crazy because you're sitting there giggling away to yourself thinking, yeah, caught up again, one, there I go. You know, so you're accepting the way that it is, you're not giving yourself a hard time for it, but you're loving yourself through the process. Then things go. So let be, not let go. Don't try and force something away. Just invite it for tea or whatever your chosen, you know, drink is, and just sit with that. And whatever it is right. And if for whatever reason, maybe you suffer from in that moment, in those moments, and sitting with something, you should never do things to do with grief and PTSD. When I say grief, it's more like bereavement and trauma related things. Like, that's where you need to do your meditation with a therapist. That's where it needs to be a proper mindfulness trained therapist, where they can sit and do RAIN with you, or they can sit and help you be with yourself on a different level, because they're the ones that can hold the space, because you're not ready to yet. Yeah. And as things get easier and easier, because they do, because if you start off right down the bottom of the mountain and you're heading for the top, and you got a whole shitload of camping stuff and that, and you're carrying all this baggage, as you're going up the mountain, you're going to be putting stuff down, aren't you? You're going to be eating stuff, and you're going to be able to let go of stuff. The journey gets lighter, the weight gets lighter, everything gets a little bit easier, and you're far more resistant, you're far more resilient, you're far more understanding of yourself than you ever were at day one.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I have progress.
Mm.
Are you available tomorrow for maybe a bit of a sort of more in-depth private chat?
I am, yeah. Just message me, because I've got a few bits going on tomorrow, and we'll see if where our times align.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much free all day until the evening.
Okay, well, so I know that I've got